Santa always asks everyone what they want for Christmas, but Santa, what do you want? Brains! Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. The 5 points I articulate are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and in the spirit of the holiday season, we're gonna have some very special Christmas-themed reviews. Today, we're taking a look at the Fresh Monkey Fiction Naughty or Nice Collection Classic Santa and the Naughty or Nice Zombie Santa. Starting off with the packaging, and how do I say this? I really hope Hasbro doesn't sue them. The size and shape and curves are the exact same, and even having the logo down here. That said, whereas Marvel Legends is a mostly black motif, Naughty or Nice is printed with a red felt texture. I love the logo and the concept, the idea being that certain characters are nice, and other ones are naughty. The names of the specific characters are up top, and on the side we get some company logos and a Christmas sweater texture. On the other side we can see this is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, and on the bottom we get some legal. One thing that's very nice is that they give credit to all the different artists, and on the back we see other figures in the wave as well as some sneak previews. The write-up explains the premise of the series, but to be honest I would much prefer an individual bio for all these crazy different Santa variations. Tell me more about Pirate Santa. Why is there a cyborg one? Also can't help but notice that the back of the box kind of reminds me of the gift wrap style of the holiday Star Wars figures. I'm starting to think that these are all disgruntled former Hasbro employees. Part of me feels like if you're gonna rip off Marvel Legends, just go whole hog. Maybe give us some really cool character art on the side. And honestly, I think that this space could be utilized a bit better. As is, though, I really like it. Which, considering that Marvel Legends are my favorite box, I guess just makes sense. For packaging, Naughty or Nice gets 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, both figures stand at 6.5 inches. I should probably start by saying that I absolutely love Christmas, and I've been wanting a good Santa Claus figure for years. For on the top, and we see his broad face. That, by the way, is removable, revealing his chrome dome. He actually reminds me of a realistic version of Mickey Rooney Santa from the Rankin and Bass Christmas specials. Between the rosiness of his cheeks and the shading in his beard, I'm really impressed with all the painted detail. Even as we move down the costume, we see lots of great shading. There's also shading in the trim. While we're on the subject, I think it was a great choice to make the beard and the trim 2 different kinds of white. It really helps to differentiate between them. The texture on that trim has been handled really well, too. Speaking of texture, there's some great leather detailing on the belt. Tiniest bit of paint slop here, but not a big deal. The gold fasteners being punched in was a nice touch. We see more of that on the boots. The boots have a kind of pirate cuff to them, appropriate since one of the figures they released was a pirate version. And speaking of alternate versions, that brings us to the zombie. The body is exactly the same, just painted differently. The red is more muted, the trim is dirtier, and there's lots of blood splatters throughout. Additionally, it's a brown belt instead of a black one. Same with the boots. Nice black heels though, and the buckles are a bit more of a champagne gold. What really sells it is this desiccated head. Pulling off the hat, I think it's interesting that one of them has hair and the other one doesn't. Nice job on the sunken-in skull-like face, and the bloody gashes really pop. Although there is a bit of a missed opportunity for them to be bloody, the hands are gruesomely outstretched. Looking closely at regular Santa's hands, and he doesn't have any fingernails. Based on the line work, they're obviously doing double duty as gloved hands, but he's an old man, so I think it works. The only way that this Santa could be any more classic is if he was drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola. Fresh Monkey did a fantastic job on all the different textures and paint details. I'm also taken by just how incredibly wholesome he is. He's every bit as kind and warm as you'd expect him to be. This is in direct contrast to the zombie version. Similar to a deceased figure, it's just a repainted body with a new head and hands, but I think it works. The head is striking, and as we'll see during playability, that bloody body does lend itself to some other options. For presentation, I'm gifting Santa 1 whole point. Moving on to posability, and I have to admit that being an unfamiliar toy line, I was really worried about breakage. I gotta admit though, these figures really surprised me. From the top, and their heads are on ball joints. As you can see, these are uncharacteristically large ball joints, so unfortunately a lot of head swaps aren't going to be possible without a lot of customization. Between the beard and the coat, he doesn't get any up and down whatsoever, but they can look side to side. Moving on down, their arms are on swivel hinges and can raise just about 90 degrees, which really impressed me. No bicep swivel or butterfly joint, but they do have single jointed swivel elbows. They cut about a 90-degree bend and can swivel together about this far. Similar to a Marvel Legend, they have swivel hinge wrists. The cuffs are nice and wide, so they have a lot of room to move. Just watch out for paint chipping. Shifting the torso, and Santa has a ball-jointed waist. Here he is standing straight, here he is arched back, and here he is hunched forward. Luckily, that bowl full of jelly allows for lots of rolling around. Do be aware, though, that when you hunch him all the way back, the coat trim does run out. Below that big buckle black belt, and Santa has ball-jointed hips. They kick forward this far, which is a lot more than expected, and thanks to these slits on the side, Santa can do the splits. He has thigh cut, but it's so high up the leg that the coat actually covers it, and then moving down he has single-jointed swivel knees, pretty decent 90-degree bend, and then moving all the way down his ankles can hinge and pivot. This is one category I could see being kind of divisive. In general, people do love their superposable figures. On the other hand, this is Santa Claus. He's a chubby old man. He's not exactly known for a lot of action, unless of course you're talking about this version. Granted, Zombie Santa lends himself to some more extreme poses. My only real issue is that I wish his arms could come a little bit closer together. He has two-handed accessories, and it's difficult to get him to hold them with both hands in a way that looks natural. As for supernatural, I think Zombie's just fine, despite the limitations in the arms, which is honestly my only articulation issue. For posability, I'm giving naughty or nice 1 whole point. Moving on to playability, and both Santas come with a sleigh full of accessories. Classic Santa, for example, comes with an alternate winking head. If you look closely, they did actually change the sculpt for the eyeball and eyebrows. Of course, Santa comes with a present. Nice little bow up top. If you were curious, no, it does not open. He also comes with his list. Pretty sure he checks it twice because it's illegible. I really love how the paper's been painted. Really does give it an old-timey feel. He also comes with a plate and 2 chocolate chip cookies. It's worth noting that all the details are painted on so they could reuse this disc for other things. Of course, Santa's going to need a glass of milk to wash those cookies down, and if he starts to get woozy from all that sugar, he also has a figure stand. He doesn't really need the stand, but it's nice that they included it. In addition to the accessory holding hands he comes pre-posed with, he comes with a pair of open hands. These ones do have fingernails and are less wrinkly than the other ones. He also comes with his pointer. Pull my finger! I assume it's taken from the line in the poem where he lays his finger aside of his nose and then goes back up the chimney, but again, the articulation isn't quite good enough for him to be able to touch his nose. One note on the hands is that they're very, very tight and will probably need some warming up to get in and out. Zombie Santa also comes with a present, but this one's a more supervillain purple and green. He also comes with the same figure stand. His plate is black, and his cookies are green, and instead of milk, he comes with a glass of black liquid, which I can only assume is Coca-Cola. He also comes with a lump of coal for the naughty kids, but for the really naughty kids, he has an axe. Really great paint and texture on that. You might rightfully be wondering why a zombie would come with an axe. Technically, he doesn't. The Bloody Santa does double duty as both a zombie and a demonic murderer. I dare say I like this look better. But playability is more than just really cool accessories that turn your figures into other figures. It's about how well those figures play with others. With all the similarities to Marvel Legends, it's no surprise that they scale well. Here we have the 20th anniversary Captain America. Here we have the 80 years Iron Man, retro Spidey, and since Santa Claus technically is a mutant in the Marvel Universe, here he is with Wolverine. For the closest thing that Marvel Legends has to a body like this, here we have Dr. Octopus. If Hasbro wanted to make a Marvel Santa Claus, this would be a good starting point. And for a Marvel character slash fellow Santa Claus, here we have Red Guardian. Again, the ball joint is way too big for an easy head swap, though I am slowly starting to hollow it out. Hopefully with a little more work, I'll be able to make a Violent Night version of Santa. On the subject of famous Santa actors, and here we have one of the best, Richard Attenborough, as he appeared in Jurassic Park. For those who don't know though, he was Santa in Miracle on 34th Street. That said, for a more proper Christmas comparison, and here we have the Black Series Holiday Edition Mandalorian Warrior and Scout Trooper. For a different 6-inch scale Hasbro line, and here we have Egon from Ghostbusters. That said, for a Mafex example, and here we have Hush. Here we have Rebirth Batman from DC Icons. For a slightly larger Rebirth Batman, and here we have Mattel Multiverse. For an even slightly larger Rebirth Batman, and here we have DC Essentials. And for an even slightly larger Rebirth Batman, here we have DC Multiverse. And for my largest Rebirth Batman, here's the DC Multiverse Battle Damaged one. For a little undead devotion, and here we have Zombie Santa with Zombie Cap from What If. Aesthetically, these two are very similar. Here we have the bootleg Marvel Select Zombie Cap. Technically, he was called Colonel America. Here we have Zombie Spidey. Spidey. Moving over to the distinguished competition, and here we have the DC Essentials Deceased Superman. Here we have the Deceased Batman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Joker, and Flash. I saved him for last because of their matching red suits. For more undead DC, however, and here we have Blackest Night Superman and Blackest Night Batman. For just a general horror comparison, and here we have the Ultimate Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Freddy by NECA. He's even got his Christmas sweater on. For a relative scale comparison, here's how this Santa body scales with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And as always, Stealth Iron Man. The best thing about this toy line is how well Santa matches up with other figures. The fact that Santa can be different heights based on your personal preference really helps. And even though Santa might have a hard time holding them, I really appreciate all the holiday themed accessories. And don't even get me started on this guy. For playability, I'm giving Naughty or Nice 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. The Naughty or Nice collection is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, and the prices range by character. Figures like Zombie Santa or Classic Santa are about $37. It's also worth noting that the line included elves and nutcrackers, but they admittedly didn't really interest me that much. And if that wasn't enough, they just announced the next series, which you can pre-order right now. Christmas comes but once a year, but don't wait. If you like what you see, snag these for your stocking before they're gone. For price, I'm giving the Naughty or Nice series 1 whole point for a perfect score of 5 out of 5. For more Christmas videos, check out this Star Wars one, or check out this Spider-Man one from last year. Are you picking up any figures from this collection, and which ones do you want? Which ones do you hope they make? Sound off in the comments below. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice, have fun, and happy holidays.